This is the part 3 of the artisan bread. I'm going to show you how to bake the bread. Very simple. To create an old style brick oven, we use pots. I use these stone ceramic pots from Emile Henry, and I use also the cast iron pots. This one has an oval shape. And recently I start using La Cloche from Emile Henry, which is allow you to trap the steam in the dome, and that way you get a crunchy, chewy crust. We put the cold pot inside the cold oven. I'm using the oven gloves. You don't need to, I forgot. Then you turn the oven to 550 degrees for 45 minutes at least to make sure that the oven is really hot. Take the dough from the refrigerator and put it on a kitchen working table once the oven is ready and hot. The volume of the dough is going to be increasing between 30 to 60% because we're using dark wheat like spelt wheat. We're going to flour the dough so it doesn't stick to the pan. At this moment we get the pan, it's really hot from the oven, and we place the dough in the middle using a baker blade. We're going to score or slash the dough to help the steam to get out from the dough, so it will and the dough will be expanding. Your loaf of bread will be expanding in size. And here I'm slashing the dough 4 times. Then we cover it with the lid as fast as we can, and we have to be careful, it's really hot. And we place the whole thing in the oven. Again, we want to close and open the oven quite fast because we can easily lose 40 to 50 degrees. 45 minutes later, we get the pot from the oven. We have to be very careful, it's really hot. Now we're baking the second loaf of bread, which has an oval shape. We're going to flour the dough so it doesn't stick to the pan. Then we're going to flour the surface of the dough so it looks good, and then we're going to score the dough with a baker blade. We close the lid, we put the whole thing in the oven, which is already at 550 degrees. At this moment we're going to lower the temperature of the oven to 475, which is also true for the first loaf of bread. I forgot to mention that. We're going to bake this loaf between 40 to 45 minutes until the loaf is dark brown. After 45 minutes to 1 hour, since this loaf of bread is quite big, it's almost 2.5 pound, you remove it from the oven and you put it in a cooling rack to cool between 1 hour to 3 hours, believe it or not, because the big loaf of bread is going to keep baking inside. It's normally the crust normally is hard, it's hollow, it's really dark, and the temperature inside of the loaf of bread is around 210-220. You don't need to measure the temperature, just to show you that it's too hot to cut this bread. After 1 or 3 hours, then we're going to check the temperature. Like I said, you don't need to, just to make sure it's under 120 degrees. Then we split the loaf of bread in half. Then after that we slice it. Now you're ready to eat this beautiful bread. Normally I do put those slices of bread in the freezer in a plastic bag for a few days, sometimes even for a few months. The texture, the taste, the smell is all wonderful. Your bread is going to taste better than the bread you buy from the store. I hope you find the time to master this artisanal bread making.